Full moon in Leo on January 25th, 2024. You ready for this one? I don't know if I am. Wow, this is a shadow moon. This is a fire moon. Fire and shadow, right? Fire and the underworld. Jupiter expansive, like adding more juice and more insight and more illumination to the shadow. Full moon, it's what's culminating, what's coming to an end. What are we seeing that we don't want to see? What has been in the hidden realms that's coming to the surface to be looked at? To me, this is a time of great transformation, a time of great change, a time of really wanting to stay grounded, get grounded, simplify, and slow down. That can be really, really helpful in this kind of buzzy energy. Uranus is also shifting, going from retrograde to direct. That just amplifies things and lights things up even more. Uranus is our nervous system. It's electricity. It can be linked to Kundalini energy. It can be linked to like buzzy, ungrounded kind of feelings. And so, there's a few things that I can share. And again, feel for you as always, what serves, what resonates, what doesn't. For some of us, it'll be a time to really go for it. I mean, really and truly, if you're feeling like, wow, this is a time for me to see things that I wouldn't normally be able to see about myself, about my path forward. The nodes of fate are very lit up in this full moon, right around this full moon. So it's a very destined time, a true north time. Our paths forward can be illuminated in ways they are normally not. Full moons are very much about illuminating, shedding light on things. We have Mars conjunct Mercury, the mind. So the mind can be much sharper. The mind can be much more direct. The mind has like warrior action behind it. So we might be able to cognize things, think about things, create a plan of action that we maybe normally couldn't. Right? So that's one way of feeling into what would most serve you to be doing during this full moon, during the days around it, right? The whole weekend. So the full moon happens on a Thursday here in the US anyways. And then the whole weekend, right? This energy, it's a couple days before, it's a couple days after. There's some transits happening over the weekend. There's some really good grace bombs coming in, some Venusian grace bombs. She has a really beautiful aspect to Venus, a really beautiful aspect to Jupiter, right? So this Venusian, heart-filled, love-filled, the pleasures, the benevolent side, goddess of love, that real feminine lover within us, getting some really good aspects. So it can be very beautiful after potentially a very intense full moon or week leading up to this full moon, which is happening again on the 24th, Thursday. All right. That's kind of a little bit of an overview. So we just did a little bit of an overview. I want to slow it down a little bit. I know I said for some of us it might feel like it's go time, like time to deepen in, time to create action plans, time to see more things, time to do some deep shadow work. For some of us, we're going to be shadow boxing like it's nobody's business, right? Shamanic journeys, underworld journeys, ways that you can get into interior aspects of self that you don't access during, like daily consciousness, waking consciousness, right? So altered states of consciousness, incredibly powerful, with the intention, right? With the aim of reveal that which is meant to be revealed for me for my highest path forward. Altered states of consciousness with the intention of reveal for me that which is meant to be seen for my highest path forward. That's a really powerful one. On the other hand, some of us, it will be instead of like deepening in, dedicated journeys, it will be so in our lives. It will be so in your face, right? You are going to be working through this in relationships, in career, in things to do with money, in family dynamics, in community relations, home, health, right? We're going to be, some of us, it's here, it's in your face. And so it's not to separate that, it's to work with it if it's showing up in the physical, because for some of us, it's really showing up in the physical. We do not need to take a shadow journey into the underworld in order to see what's going on. It's happening in our relationship. Like, it is right here. And so for some of us, it might be to self-care, to slow down, to really look after self, to support self, to have courageous conversation, to come from a place of deep truth, to be holding just this like high level love and a lot of compassion for self. If there's one thing that I can share for all of us during this time, this weekend, this week, this full moon, this Pluto just moving into Aquarius, this Uranus going direct, the Leo full moon, I mean, that's just so much about us shining our light in our own unique individual way. And if we were going to go a little bit further for this full moon, you shining your light in your own unique individual way and showing power dynamics that are stopping you from that. You shining your light in your own unique individual way. There's a word I've been working with in one of our circles, or a phrase we've been working with in one of our ReWilding circles, and it's, what is your soul contract with life? What is your soul contract with life? My contract with life, my good work in the world, my relationship to life, my soul contract with life. Like, how is it that I'm here to serve life? How is it that life serves me? I serve life. Life serves me. I serve life. It's something to possibly feel into, especially because these nodes of fate, north node, that's your true north. That's where you're headed in this life. Soul purpose, soul potential, soul capacities. That's lit up, right? That's, it's incredibly lit up. I want to feel for a quick second. And I wanted to just check my notes for a quick moment. I lost my little flow of things there. All right, let me just feel for a second, like, what's our next little thread of things? I want to talk a little more about these nodes. We're coming into eclipses in a couple months, April, right? March, end of March, and the beginning of April, we're going to be working into these eclipses. And we're kind of in a time where we're getting glimpses of the path forward. We're getting glimpses of two things. One is, what are the nodes asking of us with regards to the Aries-Libra axis? So what are true north, your greatest potentials around Aries-Libra axis? Again, it's North Node in Aries. It's about individuation of self. It's about you pioneering into who you are. It's you owning who you are. This is a full moon that is a lot about who you are. Aquarius is also about being unique, being able to honor and love the collective, right? Because Aquarius is also about the people, right? It's power of the people. Pluto going into Aquarius, power of the people. But if we were to look at another angle of Aquarius, it's also to be able to fly our freak flag, just really own your unique individual, no matter how out there, how weird, right? How alien, like it might be to the rest, or how much of a black sheep. It's to be able to stand confidently in that, to stand solidly in that. And here's another thing, is to be able to stand confidently and solidly in that without playing victim, without needing the attention that you're the black sheep. To be able to stand in that in a very healthy, solid way, not needing to be more strange than you are. All right. So this might be, we're all special, but it might be that we're getting the special kicked out of us. And that might really hurt. That's a Pluto in Aquarius moving to next level of soul expression, death of the ego, birth of the soul, death of the identification of I'm so fucking special, I'm so unique. We're all unique. We are all special. We are all black sheep, right? We are all black sheep. And that's kind of a little bit of what might be coming up for some of us, not all of us, but definitely looking at ego structures that are ready to die. And when ego structures are ready to die, they no longer fit, right? They're like, who you identify with is losing power. You are not that anymore. And sometimes we cling on to that, or we cling on to an aspect of life that started to go away 6 months ago, or started to go away a year ago, or we cling on to an identity that started to fade, and there's a new identity coming online for us. And this is a full moon that's going to push us further and further into the new identity. That's a really great place to reflect. A really great place to meditate on is, who am I becoming? Who am I now? Not who was I last week or 6 months ago or a year ago. This might be a time to grieve who you were. Maybe you were single a year ago. Maybe you were childless a year ago, right? It might be a time for some of us to grieve who we were, what we had that we're still clinging on to. It might be that its time has passed and we're still holding on. That could be a really powerful place for some of us to deepen into. How do we honor death? Like death of a form of relationship that we were maybe in, you know? How do we honor death of a part of self, death of an identification, death of a career, death, like really on, and using that word death, that's a Pluto word, right? This sun was just conjunct Pluto. They just moved signs. It is lit up like crazy, and the full moon is opposing it, right? There are 5 degrees off. The full moon is opposed. It is loud. It is loud. So if we didn't feel that Pluto transit, right? It was this huge thing, you know, Pluto's conjunct the sun, and Pluto's now moving, and the sun and Pluto are moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius. If we didn't feel it, this full moon's illuminating it. It's making it louder. And Jupiter's in a T-square to them. This is it. This is it. And it's lit up days before, days after, but Jupiter is going to make it bigger, make it louder. It's in our faces. So what is it that's in your face? What is it that's so in your face that you almost can't see it? This could be, and it's all about your growth. This is growth. It's a time of growth. It's a time of growth. It's a time of forward movement. It's a time of bringing in the new. It's go time. But go time might mean internal go time. It might mean, so when I say go time, and it's like, oh, the planets are direct, right? Uranus goes direct, I think two or 3 days right after this full moon. Like, he's already going. It's already, the energy's there during this full moon of Uranus direct. Everyone's direct. They're all direct. It's all forward motion. But just because we're saying forward motion, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's external to you, as within, so without, as above, so below. So for some of us, like I spoke about earlier, it will be so in the physical world. It will be so right here. Our relationships are changing. We're having challenging conversations. We just lost our jobs. You know, like, holy Moses, like, it is in the tangible physical world. For me, my grandfather just died. Like, that is so tangible. Death, Pluto, death for a rebirth, the whole family system, the masculine line, right? He was the oldest masculine patriarchal energy holding in my family line. So for some of us, it will be very, very, very in the physical world, very much in the physical world. And so it will be this outward action. So this direct motion, like, things are moving, it's going quick. You might be feeling like there's a quickening. Something that I'd love to share around this quickening is, don't let it sweep you up and move faster than you can stay aligned. There's this practice I always do and share a lot in our different circles, and it's, may I only go as fast as I can stay aligned. Right? Or it'll be a mantra to myself, only go as fast as you can stay aligned, only go as fast as you can stay aligned, right? So yes, there could be this big forward sweeping motion because everything's direct, and it might be in the physical where it is forward action, but it might be in the inner world. So for me, it almost, there's a lot going on in the outward world, but in the inner, like, it is a freight train happening, a freight train of death, rebirth, death, rebirth, death, rebirth, death, rebirth, deep transformation, deep change. And there's a part of me that's like, and feel for you, you know, I'm sharing this as a way of you just having something to rub up against, right? Like, how does this land for me? What does this spark for me? What insights does this take you down? Or what rabbit hole does this take you down? But it's also this like really honoring, because Pluto is deep. It's deep psychological transformation. Deep psychological transformation, right? It's the depths. Like he goes deeper than the depths, right? It's like the deep, the unconscious, right? He's Lord of the underworld, your hidden, the parts you hide from yourself, the thought patterns that you don't know that you have, the absorbed family conditioning that you don't know that you have, the past life karma that you don't know that you have. That's all Pluto territory. That is all Pluto territory. But Pluto's the man right now, right? He is on the main stage, and he's got like Leo lion-hearted with, Leo, it's like the spotlight, like putting on a play, putting on the drama, like let's play this out, let's have the life drama so that we can really get it. Pluto's like, yes, I will take the stage. I will gladly have the spotlight so we can go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, so that I can reveal more of you to you. That's what he's doing, so that I can reveal more of you to you. I can reveal more of yourself to yourself. I want to show you you. I want to show you a fuller version of you, a truer version of you, a more authentic version of you. So short-term pain for long-term gain. That's a really powerful thing right now. Short-term pain, shadow work, can be incredibly painful. Right? It can be gut-wrenching. It can bring up shame. It can bring up fears. It can bring up pain. It can bring up all kinds of things, right? But it's the alchemizing the shame into love. It's the shifting of the fear into no fear, right? It's also a lot to do with your power, and not just, and let's think about all forms of power. You dress a certain way because it gives you power, right? You choose to drive a certain vehicle for the level of power that it feels for you. You buy things. It's all power exchange. The way that you respond to somebody, the words that you use, it's all power exchange. We're exchanging power all the time, right? It's power. It's power. It's if we just look at energy exchange, just, because we're really good at saying like, oh, I can feel your vibes. I can feel, but think about it in terms of power. Not super comfortable. Am I disempowering someone so that I can feel more empowered? Is someone disempowering me? Am I letting someone disempower me so that I can let them feel better? Do they feel better when I'm disempowered? This is going to be a big theme for some of us, especially around like masculine and feminine, the power dynamics between the masculine and feminine. And I'm saying this because the nodes of fate are on the relationship axis, the Aries Libra axis. And one of the main forms of relationship in our lives is masculine and feminine. And this doesn't mean man and woman by any means. It's masculine and feminine within ourselves, masculine and feminine in our relationships. Where's that polarity? Where's that that like magnetism, North Pole, South Pole? So if you feel feminine and masculine, like when it's far into the feminine, far into the masculine, it's like North Pole and South Pole on magnets, and they're just whoosh, right? So that can be really loud power. Think about, let me feel for a second. A great question is, where am I giving up power? Where do I feel powerless? Where am I feeling powerless? Where am I? Let me feel. I'm trying. Power is such a tricky place to work, and it's really interesting to try to be talking about this in our ReWilding Astrology podcast conversation, where it's more of like, because power is such a hidden, right? Power is like first, second, third chakra. And most of us haven't done a whole lot of deep unconscious work in first, second, third chakra. That's power. That's your power. It's primal power. It's hidden power. And we source our power from very unconscious places. We operate our power dynamics from very unconscious places. But here's the beautiful part about this full moon is that we have an opportunity to see more than we've seen before. We have an opportunity to see more than we've seen before. Okay, so let's feel a little bit more into what would serve this conversation. I love this Mars-Mercury conjunction that's happening. Really love this. It's the Mars-Mercury conjunction that is squaring the nodes of fate, right? I just want to double check. That super quickly. Yeah, the nodes of fate are at 18 degrees, and they will be squaring the nodes of fate perfectly on the 27th. So this full moon is the 24th. It's very active during the full moon. Like that's full on during the full moon. And just know a couple days after, it'll get even more potent. But what does that mean? So if we think Mercury, we think the mind. We think messenger of the gods. That's Mercury. Hermes, messenger of the gods. So messenger of the gods can talk to any planet, can talk to any aspect of self, any archetypal energy, any aspect of you, and can bring thoughts and words to it. That's beautiful. So Mercury being square the nodes of fate, there's a fatedness to it. It's soul purposes. So it's like, I can be messenger of the gods, right? Hermes is like, I'm messenger of the gods right now for your highest path forward, Sabrina. I'm messenger of the gods of your highest path forward. Also your karmic south node, right? Where you came from. All the karmic baggage, the backpack, like what's in there. So he's messenger of the gods of, if we clean up a little bit of this karmic baggage, some of this ancestral stuff or past life fears and wounds and we clean up some of that, we're going to open up your north node. We're going to open up your potentials in this life, because you got to clear this to open this, right? You got to heal this to awaken this. You got to let go of this to reclaim this. So they're opposite each other, south and north node. They're always, right? And so they work in unison. If you work the south node, you're automatically working the north node. You work the north node, you automatically work the south node. And so Hermes is saying, I'm messenger to your true north. I'm messenger to your soul purpose, to your highest potentials in life right now. Like, so the mind can go to this place, will be automatically, innately wired to your soul path. It's beautiful. It's stunning. Like, this is a great time for journeying, for doing soul purpose work, for doing shadow work around the north and south nodes. So also, Hermes, messenger of the gods, is conjunct Mars. This is giving us fire. Mars brings passion. He's god of war. He brings action. He brings direction, right? He can also bring like a little bit of fire, a little bit of war to things. And so words can be very Mars-like. They can be very direct. But if we really, really hold them to deep truth, and we really hold ourselves to highest good, let me speak the highest good. And if we end up speaking directly in the highest good, it might sting in the moment, right? If we end up giving ourselves permission to think very directly and very truthfully, like, yeah, let there be some fire. Let there be some fire, right? Let there be some direct words. Let it be real and honest and raw and aligned with highest purposes. And let me call myself out and say, you're playing small, sunshine. Let me call myself out and say, you know that you're called to do this in the world. You know this is part of your sacred contract with life. Right? Sacred contract with life. That is one thing. Deepen into that. Get into that. Dance that. Play some music to that. Sacred contract with life. What is my sacred contract with life? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Let me dance it. Let me sing it. Let me howl it. Let me move it. Right? Let me just, even if you stop always trying to cognize everything. We're always trying to like get a thought around it. Fuck that. Just live it. Right? Fuck that. Just live it. Let me just hold this deep prayer in my system, so I am constantly praying. Let me just live it. I don't need to think about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to just sit here and write about it and think about it. I want to be it. I want to be my sacred contract with life. Let me be my sacred contract with life. And whatever you feel to do during this full moon around becoming your sacred contract of life, you just embody your sacred contract of life. So you're literally moved by it. You don't have to think about it because the brain will get in the way, right? You're going to want to do like pros and cons lists, and then logic's going to set in, and then you're going to question yourself. You're going to doubt yourself. All blah, blah, right? There is a way, right? Tapping in Venus, feminine capacity to just be moved by life. Right? Let life move me. Let my true north move me. Let Shakti, life force energy, divine wisdom, let it move me. Let me be moved by the goddess. Let me be moved by it. That is very powerful, especially with Venus having this glorious aspect to Saturn and then a really good aspect right after that to Jupiter. Right? It's a trine to Jupiter, a sextile to Saturn. First she sextiles Saturn, then she trines Jupiter, right? And that's feminine embodiment. Like just feel into feminine embodiment. Okay, cool. I don't have to think my way through this. I don't have to know exactly every single little step for the next 10 years to embody and embrace my true north, my highest path forward. I can actually just hold this in my system that I just live in. I'm just moved by life to fulfill my sacred contract with life. I think that's it. Like if I had a mic that I could drop, like I know this one doesn't really count, but I feel like that's it. I mean, that's it. That's your spiritual journey. That's your soul purpose journey. That's what brings you fulfillment. That's what brings you the love that you're craving. That's what brings you the joy and the bliss. Like follow your bliss. That's the fucking path. Oh man, I feel like I'm on my soapbox. I want to end here. Let me feel a little more. I can bring a little Leo, like a little bit of Leo love in after just blowing us up. Full moon in Leo. Let's feel into that heart. Heart practices can be really powerful this full moon. Going into the heart desires. Courage. So Leo can also bring us courage to take action, courage to have that conversation, that direct conversation, courage to see ourselves in a different light. Full moon, illuminating our soul contract. Let this full moon illuminate your soul contract. Courage to see it. Courage, here's a big one. Ready for this one? Courage to release what you need to release so that you can fulfill your sacred contract, because it's a huge time of death. It's a big time of death. It's a big time of letting go. And that's why so many of us are so fucking squirmy. We're like, yeah, transformation. Yeah, Pluto and Aquarius, this sounds great. Like new, bring on the new. No, we're in the death phase. Most of us are in the death phase. Yeah, we can see the new. Yeah, the new's trickling in. Yeah, we're starting to move that way. Yeah, we're taking action that way. But the way we move that way is to let go of the old. It's the death phase. What needs to die? Full moon is about death. It's the culmination of something, Something is ended, something is culminating. Many things for us. Some of us, it's many things. Like this pattern is outworn. This thought pattern, this belief system, this ancestral line, this past life, witch wound shit that I'm carrying around or whatever it is, right? It's done. It's done. But I'm potentially holding on to it still. You know what's killing me is that I somehow hit my microphone and I stopped recording. Yeah, when I did the really cool mic drop, I lost the audio. Like the little lights blinking at me like blink, blink, blink. Oh well, here we are. Maybe we'll only have a video now. We'll splice out some audio somewhere. Okay, what was I talking about? We're talking about Leo. We're talking about death. Shining a light. Reveal to me that which is ready to be released. That's another really powerful prayer during this full moon, or powerful mantra or meditation or, vision quest. We have a shadow workshop. So if you're like, Sabrina, I hear you on these practices and you're saying shamanic journeys and shadow work's powerful. I don't know how to do that. We have a shadow work workshop. It's $50, $47, I think. That's an enormously powerful place to start. Like if you've got it already, I know a lot of you already have it in your ReWilding library. Do it during this full moon. It will be powerful because every time you journey into it, it's a different journey, right? Every time you journey into that hour-long workshop, that hour-long ReWilding journey into your shadow, it's a different experience. And so if you have it, go for it. Go for it and feel into these intentions that I've shared with you during this conversation for the one that's most alive for you. Go in with that intention. Hold that intention, and that's your journey. If you don't have it, there's a link below. the week before to the week after, like the 2 weeks surrounding this full moon, will be incredibly potent and incredibly powerful for shadow journeys. I'm telling you, Pluto is shadow worker of all shadow workers. And to have just moved signs, to be conjunct the sun, opposing the moon, squaring Jupiter, this is wild what will and can open up for us in an underworld journey. Okay, let me feel if there's anything else that I would like to share. I think that's it. Just a ton of love. Yeah, a ton of love. I'd love to see you all in the comments below, right? I'm always there for the first couple of days. After a podcast comes out, our Facebook group is another place that we're having lots of conversations. It's really beautiful. And especially because we just had a free week of mystery school in there. So there's lots of activity happening, lots of shares, lots of cool conversation. It's a lot of gifting right now. Like, it's a lot of gifting. So if you're like, gosh, I'd really like to just tap into some community, Pluto moving into Aquarius, it is about community, right? It's about transforming community. It's about new ways of being in community that really serves, right? New ways of being a community that really serves the soul. Pluto, that really is truth-filled, serving the soul. Yeah. All right. I'd love to see you wherever I see you. And this has just been great. And I'm so grateful for our community. And I wouldn't be here doing this if it weren't for you all. So, all right. Happy full moon. And I will see you where I see you, when I see you, and how I see you. So much love to you. Mwah.